In this video, we're looking at how to find the correlation coefficient using the graphing calculator. Alright, so before we start, we have to do something. You might have done this already when you watched another video earlier, but if not, let's do it together now. Let's turn on the calculator, and what we want to do is we want to go to this catalog option in the calculator. So this is my calculator, it's second and 0. You'll have to look for it in your calculator if it's in a different location, but it should say catalog, and we'll hit second catalog to bring that up. When you bring it up, you're going to have all these different letter options here. If you actually press where the D is on your calculator, and my calculator that's under the X inverse key here, if you press that X inverse key, it'll bring you down to where the D's occur. And if you scroll down, you'll be able to find diagnostics on. Now, if you didn't want to push the D to get there, you can just scroll all the way down until you see diagnostic on here. Now, diagnostic on is highlighted with the cursor next to it there. I'm going to press enter. It's going to come up on my screen, and it's waiting for me to hit enter one more time. So I hit enter one more time, and I get the word done here in my calculator. It tells me that the diagnostics have been turned on in my calculator. So I'll clear that out now, and what I'm going to do is press the stat key first for the next step, and I'm going to press the edit option. So stat and then enter will bring us into the screen where we can enter this data into our lists. So we're going to want to enter the data into L1 for absences, L2 for grades. Alright, now what I'm going to do is highlight L1 here first and press the clear button and push down, and that erases all the data that's already in L1 there. I'll do the same for L2. I'll arrow over to where L2 is. I'll arrow up to where it says L2, hit clear, press down, and that'll clear that. Alright, so let's type in the absences here for this problem. So it'll be 10, then 12, then 2, then 0, then 8, and then 5. Okay, so I entered in all the absences. Let's go over and now enter the final grades in. So it'll be 70, 65, 96, 94, 75, and 82. Okay, so I have all the absences and all the final grades entered into two different lists, absences in L1 and final grades in L2. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to press the stat key. I'm going to arrow over to where it says calculate there at the top of my calculator screen, and then I'm going to go down to 4 where it says lin reg. Alright, so lin reg option 4. Press enter. Now it's blinking at me and looking at me. It wants me to enter the list that this data is located in. So I'm going to hit the second key and the number 1 to bring up list 1. And I'm going to press comma here. Comma is above my 7 key. And I'll hit second and L2. And then finally press enter. And the calculator will do its job. Alright, you can see what it's giving me here. It's giving me the equation y equals ax plus b, which is our linear regression equation. It gives me the a and b, the coefficients that are needed to fill in that equation. Now, I don't necessarily need the equation here. What I do need, though, is the correlation coefficient r. And that value is found there as my last data value, right? And it tells me there's a negative relationship. You can see the little negative there. And it's 0.981 essentially, which indicates a pretty strong relationship. This means that there's a strong negative linear relationship between absences and final grades. And what does the negative mean again? Well, it basically means that these variables move in opposite directions. As the number of absences increases, the grades go down, right? So if you have a lot of absences, your final grade would be lower. That makes sense, I guess, correct?